I want to talk to you about how to succeed with content marketing this year. Let's have a quick conversation about that, okay? So, here are the general considerations I want you to think about. Now, content marketing has been all around for ages. It's not a new concept, really, okay? And it wasn't born for online purposes only. So, when you actually think about content marketing, this is not just for SEO purposes. And the cool thing is, even today, content marketing continues to be one of the most effective of online marketing strategy, and that's why you wanted to really focus on what makes sense for your target audience. Okay, now let me share with you popular types of content marketing. So you have written content, you have images and photos, you have videos also. Okay, now which one will work for your particular brand will depend on what your target audience is actually expecting. So when you think about written content, think about the backbone of the web and most used type of content marketing. Many content subtypes fall under this category. You have blog posts or articles, ebooks, social media posts, white papers, newsletters, or email marketing. What about images and photos? Well, social networks have become increasingly visual, catering to images like Instagram and Pinterest. So, numerous studies have also shown that written content with images, aka rich media, performs better than content without images. So, you always want to have this sort of extra layer of images. So, apart from standard photographs, some of the more effective forms of visual content are you have infographics, very important, very critical here. You have quote graphics also work pretty well. You want to think about comics. Comics you have to really have to be adapted to the kind of content you have, but also the target audience, your readership. You also have slide presentations, and you have animated GIFs. Okay, now human beings love picture, that's for sure. So what you want to do is that you want to really use those pictures. You want to use the pictures in general, like visual content, to grab your audience's attention, especially when your audience is really looking for specifically that type of hook. Next, you want to have videos. So when you think about written content, especially content marketing, videos actually are important. So we see massive growth in the popularity of video content. Now, although videos might be more resource intensive, the rewards for making good videos are undeniable, particularly in content areas already saturated with easier to create content. And so now, what you want to do is you want to check the saturation of your topic area by entering your topic in a content analyzer tool, and the results will show you the number of articles published per year and the total and average engagement. There are actually many formats you can use to create video content: how to or instructional videos, video interviews, behind the scenes looks, for instance. You might have quick tips or webinar recordings. And YouTube and Facebook are the most popular channels for publishing video content. And YouTube actually tends to do better with longer form video, like more than 5 minutes, whereas Facebook tends to do better with shorter form video, like let's say less than 2 minutes. However, live streaming video is also rising in popularity as a more raw and authentic form of video content. You also have ebooks. Ebooks may fall under the category of written content, but they actually deserve their own section. So, short for electronic book, ebooks have become incredibly popular. They actually provide significant value to the reader by offering a long-form topical discussion. And typically, ebooks are delivered in PDF format and include a handful of non-text visual elements also. You also have white papers. So in terms of content marketing, white papers are really can really be critical. Okay, so when you think about white paper, actually you have to be the specific. You have to really focus more on B2B content marketing. So businesses use white papers to convey data-driven insights, or let's say case studies. So like ebooks, what happens here is that white papers are also great lead magnets, and B2B products or services benefit the most from this format. And Those are just some of the most popular content types your business can use when starting your content marketing process. Now, let me talk to you about crafting your content. So, if you're thinking about succeeding with content marketing, how do you craft your content here? Now, one thing for sure, successful content marketing takes skill and effort, that's for sure, and also resources. It's not a walk in the park, but if executed well, the results will speak for themselves. So, content marketing generates significantly more ROI at a lower cost than other marketing strategies. So, one thing you want to do is you want to identify the top content for your industry. So, if you're thinking about crafting your content, you got to have a clear idea about the primary as well as the secondary topics for your industry. So, do you know what content is popular in your industry? You should, if you do, you should really make sure that you actually start from that point. Okay, when you see a piece of popular content in your topic area, notice how it's structured. Consider the style, number of images, and basic format. You'll be building a mental picture that you can refer to in your writing in your own content creation brief, for instance. Next, you want to think about proper keyword usage. Keyword usage is really quite essential. Let me break it down for you. Never underestimate the power of keyword strategy. Keywords are a significant ranking factor for search engines, so you want to use keywords and keyword phrases correctly if you want search engines to rank your content higher. And better ranked content equals more free traffic, no PPC, but free traffic, okay? And so more traffic leads to a better ROI for sure. So what you want to do is that you want to use a keyword tool to uncover important keyword metrics such as monthly search volume, cost per click, and search trends to help you find and refine a target keyword for your content. And so once you have found the right keyword, what will happen here is that you need to weave it into your content naturally. So original SEO best practice suggested you want to use your target keywords in the title of your content. Mention keywords at least once in the first paragraph of your post, and that will help you big time. You want to use your keyword in at least one H2 heading. You want to maintain a keyword ratio of 2% of total word count. Don't really have a keyword stuffing, okay? And you want to match the keyword and URL. So if your keywords were best guacamole recipe, the ideal URL will be yourdomain.com/best guacamole recipe. Also, you want to add your keyword to the meta description so your reader will understand clearly why they actually should click through to your post in the first place. So it's all about making sure that you are making the reader's life easier. Next, you want to think about the fact that longer posts typically perform best, but content trumps length. Okay, it's not about just you writing blah 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 blah. No, it has to be long, but the right topic. So when writing blog posts, longer is usually better. 2,000 words is a good minimum target for your articles. You might be thinking, hey, won't my audience be bored with such a long article? Well, not really true. Many people cite stats about dwindling human attention spans. However, basically, if you think about the people reading, let's say, articles, the right people, I mean not right people, the right audience is more likely to share longer articles. More shares mean more traffic, and who doesn't want that? So basically, you want to really understand that you want to really have long form content, but it has to be the right format and the right topic. Okay, now basically, research has shown that long form content actually generates more noise, more buzz than short form content. Okay, for instance, there were actually long form content is it's actually more shared, especially when you have more than 2,000 words. This tells you that most people just are not willing to create in-depth, well-researched articles packed with insights. They just don't want to put in the time and efforts. But the cool thing is, if you do, basically you are going to attract free traffic. So by going the extra mile, you automatically separate yourself from the majority of online content creators. When writing a long article, you want to pay more attention to headings, subheadings, and images. So breaking the text into smaller chunks not only makes it more attractive on page, it also makes the resulting piece much more skimmable. Longer articles can also have other benefits, such as if engaging throughout, they increase the time spent on site. So the search engines tend to rank websites that have a high average time spent. They also longer articles increase the likelihood of your audience exploring your site more. They allow you also to cover more relevant and related topics, which can be helpful when it comes to springboarding onto other related content via links and building strong content clusters. Okay. And also, the cool thing is that longer form articles allow you to offer in depth solutions to customers, giving them more reason to know, like, and trust your brand and your company in the first place. So, this is kind of cool. Okay. Next, you want to focus on quality over quantity. Of course, I spoke about the longer form content, but quality is always going to trump quantity. So, for years, many publishers believed that if you had to release articles regularly in order to get in Google's good graces, media outlets set a standard of publishing large amounts of articles, getting massive amounts of traffic. Now, when it came to SEO, the widely accepted belief was that your website needed lots of content for Google to have plenty of reasons to rank it in search results, and you needed to publish new, fresh content regularly in order to maintain high ranks. With a great demand for high volumes of content, the quality of content slowly diminished. So articles that were nothing but keywords, fluff, and clickbait headlines became all too common on the internet. So the online landscape has changed a lot over the last few years, especially since COVID erupted, particularly in the world of SEO. We've seen a big shift towards quality and depth of content instead of volume and frequency. So it's important to really understand that basically quality, not quantity, is actually has become the key to getting organic traffic from the likes of Google search and also Bing, by the way. It's not just for the boost in free organic traffic, organic search traffic, but higher quality content is always going to build trust faster and more efficiently than low quality content. You also want to publish early in the week, okay? So it's one of those things where if you want to really, if you want to hook your readers, basically you want to understand that publishing earlier in the week, let's say Monday through Wednesday, is a more effective strategy than publishing later in the week. Maybe later in the week, your readers have more focus or more focus points, if you will. Next, you want to collaborate with authoritative authors. One of the reasons Social Media Examiner has done so well is the fact that they use respected authors that produce quality content. So what you want to do is that you are able to reach out to guest authors. So when you reach out to guest authors with higher levels of authority, you are able to attract certain traffic, especially if they publish on your sites. Okay, you'll be leveraging their already established reach, building great content for your audience, and establishing relationships with influencers. In other words, you don't even have to create the content yourself. And if you can really instead partner with an authoritative author to produce a high quality piece for you, that's kind of cool. Of course, they will want to share this with their audience, giving you an automatic boost in shares and reach. So that's really fantastic, especially from an SEO perspective. And one thing for sure, you want to be patient and wait for results. Okay. Now, producing good content is not always a quick win. It's actually a long-term strategy that will net you a better results as time goes by. And so you want to really understand that it's not going to happen overnight. That's for sure. So one of the biggest wild cards when it comes to SEO is actually knowing when something will rank. And so basically, if you publish an article right away, you may not see a huge spike in traffic until 3, 4, 6 months later on. Okay. And so you also want to understand that sometimes it might take longer. So, but if you continually produce high quality, in-depth content It's only a matter of time until the cumulative effect kicks in, and all you need is just one article. You want one article to go big, and then you can really rake it in. Okay. Now the this phrase applies to SEO. So a website filled with high quality articles create an overall site authority, which in turn increases the authority of all articles. So it's one of those things. But see but that happens in the long run. It's not going to happen overnight. It might take a while. In your case, it might take a few months. Let me talk to you about promoting your content marketing. So basically, even before creating your content, you need to plan to promote it. Sometimes this will mean quoting influencers or customers. Other times it may mean collaborating for writing a review. At the very least, you want to plan to promote content on social with paid and organic posts and via email to your subscribers. Okay, it's not enough to create content and hope it will get found. So it's one of those things where you would realize that if you don't have a process for content promotion, you're not going anywhere. You want to also make your content strategically shareable. Okay. So how do you create a process for content promotion this year? Well, you want to create an internal process for this, and it will be a pretty difficult task. Okay. So you want to use a tool to help you out. You can use an SEO tool to identify, for instance, core networks. You can also craft a message for each network, and you also want to think about multiple messages. Don't just settle with one message per network. Create multiple variations, questions, calls to action, quotes, and other snippets from your article and share them out over time. Don't forget the power of your colleagues. Actively ask them to share content on LinkedIn and Twitter, now called X. Okay, and what you want to do is you also want to make your content strategically shareable. So more critical than promoting your content is having your audience promote it for you. So having images, infographics, and other forms of visuals such as charts and graphs, screenshots, and GIFs throughout your content will help the shareability. However, you also want to employ the following tactics to ensure the highest level of social engagement. So social share buttons. If you're not giving people clear and simple ways to share your content, they won't. You also want to optimize shared content. So if possible, you want to customize how the content is shared for each network. So optimizing the share for each network increases the likelihood of click-through and return traffic. This includes crafting messages that match the feel and tone for each network. In other words, don't copy a tweet to use on Facebook or LinkedIn. And you also want to have shareable quotes. So making simple shareable quotes is the lowest possible barrier to entry for someone to actually share your content. Okay. So you also think about managing the process. So basically the content marketing process is complex. So you want to really think about stuff like spending time researching content, learning about your audience, undertaking trend spotting, chatting about the trends with influencers, or analyzing traffic with the Google Search Console. And there are daily tasks, weekly tasks, monthly tasks, and campaign-specific tasks to keep in mind. So you have to really ask yourself whether or not you want to outsource part of the work to a third party or you want to do it yourself in-house. So if you work alone on projects, this process might help you plan enough time for each step and avoid getting bogged down somewhere in the middle. And if you work with a large team, it might help you to better understand what your colleagues do. So it's really cool to really have a process in place. That way you have a clear idea where you're going in the first place. In conclusion, into this conversation, I explained to you how to succeed with content marketing. I gave you the general considerations. I spoke to you about how to succeed with content marketing, how to craft your content, how to promote it, and now conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.